Hey everyone. First off, just like to warn everyone, I have a bit of a nagging cough right now, so while I'm making this video, if I suddenly break out into a coughing fit, I apologize, but maybe the talking will help to prevent that. It is 8 degrees Celsius. It's a clear night, which means it's going to get colder. Those of us who live in colder climates know that if it's a clear night, we know it's going to be cold. If it's cloudy, it won't be as cold. That's just been my experience. Maybe other people have that experience as well. And what I have to talk about right now, one thing I want to check out is I'm going to see if those lights are up at the tower still. That look like two eyes staring at me that I'd never seen before. My previous video, I saw it look like eyes staring at me, but like I'd never seen them before. So I want to see if I see them again. Come on, Bubs, leave it. Yeah, I'm curious if that happens. But the topic I want to discuss or tell a story about is the time I experienced an alternate universe. I used to live in a Western Canadian province, and I was living in a small town, which in actuality was a city, but they called themselves a town. Beautiful place. And I decided to get out of Dodge for a bit and go to a larger city. So I did. I hopped on a bus to save myself the aggravation of driving. And then I, just took a train everywhere I needed to go. And I remember it raining. So I had an umbrella with me. It was raining. And I ended up in this spot in the city that was just amazing. Full of people, had a kind of like a bohemian feel to it. Lots of like artsy people and great restaurants and bookshops and everything like that. I stopped and I had a sandwich and I did people watching, because living in a smaller community, whenever you go out to a place that you don't know anyone, it's interesting to walk around and realize and see people be like, hey, I don't know anyone here. I don't recognize you. Right? So it's always interesting. And I, had lunch, stopped in a bookshop. And on my way back, it started raining, so I got my umbrella out. And this rain was hard. I mean hard. So I was very thankful I had an umbrella with me. And then a few years later, I moved to this larger center to go to school. And for the life of me, I could not find this community. And I was there for a year and a half. And I worked for a disability service agency that had homes all over the place where people with disabilities lived. So I got to go move around the city and travel around the city and get to know it really well. I even spoke to people, be like, hey, can you show me where all the cool bohemian artsy places are? They said, oh yeah, go here. I went to go check it out. Nothing like what I saw. So I am convinced, 100% convinced, that I ended up in some sort of alternate universe of that city. And that was that experience. I was in the Canadian military for a period of time. And I had a very strange experience once where I feel like I had a fugue experience, F-U-G-E. I think I'm pronouncing that right, or getting that terminology right. From what I understand, it's when your mind turns off and your subconscious takes over to get you through a really stressful period of time. I think that happened to me. I was working with Army cadets, and which is something I really enjoyed doing at the time. I got burnt out, so I had to leave. And I remember walking around the base. Then all of a sudden I felt like I became aware and conscious of my surroundings. And I ended up in the mess hall for lunch, and they had like this seafood lunch, which I've never had like lobster or anything like that. And people actually had to show me how to eat all that food. But it felt like I was missing time. Now, you may be able to hear that. That's just a cooling fan turning off in those sheds by the tower over there. Nothing abnormal. Excuse me, I'm gotta catch my breath. It's a darn cough. I feel like I have to cough. So yeah, that happened to me too. That experience, I try not to read anything into it because, you know, it was a stressful time in my life. I could have had a few experiences. I don't know. All I can really say is I felt like it happened. Okay. So I'm standing underneath the tower and I see those white lights again. So definitely that's something on the tower. That's not something mysterious or strange. Those are just white lights on the tower. Nothing to be concerned about. Yeah. What else can I talk about? So I'm approaching the top of the hill. So maybe I'm just going to stand here. Try being quiet. See if you hear anything. Excuse me. There's a car driving by. He smells something, but there's a wind blowing. Could be deer. He's a blue-eyed husky. I don't know if I ever mentioned that before. He's from a northern Ontario fly-in community. Only way you can get to the community is by ice road or flying by plane. Obviously by plane. There's a light over there. I think that's just a star. Try to turn my headlamp off. See how dark it is? Can't see the hand in front of my face. There's no clouds right now. So the sky is beautiful. Stars aren't as bright, so there could be some smaller clouds. Okay. All right. So, to show you this, where I live around the Canadian Shield, that's granite. It's the oldest rock in the world, and here it was scraped off by a glacier. And sometimes at night, the granite can hold on to latent heat from the sun, and it can, like, I guess you could say it glows, but it can still be a little bit hot. Because of its color, and there's lichen on it. It's like a neon green. It can be quite bright in the winter. Not in the winter, in the darkness. It can glow as well. So sometimes you may see like shadows or things glowing in the dark, and it's just rock. It's just granite. Like, here's a good example. Right there, what I'm talking about. Piece of granite. You see how bright that gets? Come on, Bubs. He smells stuff. We also got foxes here, obviously. I think I've mentioned that before. You're coming up to those sheds. So the closest city we live to is south of here. Okay. Motion detector light turning on. So I'm going to keep on walking. Wait for those motion detectors to turn off. I'm going to see if they'll turn on again. Because that's happened to me a few times, but I think it's because I stopped walking. They turn off. Yeah, there it goes, turns off. Yeah, Okay. It's because I stop walking when I'm close to it, and then it turns off, and then I start walking and it turns back on. There's some more lichen moss. That stuff really glows bright. You see it. Yeah. The joke that I like to tell people is I've been known to spend more time in the bush than the average moose. That was very much me. I haven't been spending as much time outside as I normally would. Just, life, kids, how it goes. But I try to take them outside as much as I can. What I might try doing, though, is nothing has been happening when I've been taking these videos. So maybe one of these days I should come up here with my phone and just do what I normally do. Just walk up here, And to be honest, with me making these videos, like I'm not looking for anything to happen. Because who in the right? Well, people investigate, right? People investigate with the purpose of finding spirits or ghosts or having, spooky or strange experiences. But yeah, I don't know. What am I searching for? I don't know. Maybe that's the question. What am I searching for? Yeah. Getting all philosophical now. Well, we're coming into October here, and I don't think we're going to get any snow just yet. We've had lots of rain the last few days, so lots of mushrooms have been coming up, which is quite nice. I like mushrooms, but I don't think we're expecting any snow. I don't think so. I grew up in a city west of here that gets incredibly cold, and I went through some major blizzards growing up. You get snowdrifts over the top of your house, and this was a provincial capital that I lived in. Okay. Well, I think I'll end it here. Like, comment, ask me questions. If there's anything you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it, see if I have an opinion. I might, you never know. And I hope everyone is good. Do kind things for other people. See you, folks. Cheers.